The day breaks on a crack. And some more cracks. And some more cracks. There's a lot of cracks in this room, is what I'm saying. So what we're gonna do is fill in the cracks tonight. It only takes about half an hour to dry, but frankly, I've been working all day and it's already after 7. So I'm not gonna start skimming tonight because it's just too flippin' messy. But we're gonna just start by filling these cracks in. The walls are dry. They're still a little bit dusty when I put my hands on them. So I think what I'll do tomorrow before I start skimming is just yet another, just rubbing a dry towel on them, just trying to get as much of the dust off as we can. Because frankly, if this skim falls down, I'm just gonna cry like a little bitch. So we're trying to avoid that. So I'm gonna get started filling cracks with purple stuff.
And I'm gonna make dinner. See you later.
This is my life. I work, he feeds me. Could be worse. Let's get started.
Play to your strengths. Or my strengths.
I thought you were going.
So did I.
What I like about the Gorilla Glue spackle is that it starts as purple and then turns white. Unfortunately, it was so warm in the room, it was basically turning white immediately.
Well, it's been about half an hour and I've only got literally this little tiny bit by the light switch. There's just so many cracks. So we'll see. I'm gonna start winding down because I can already smell my dinner cooking. I just don't know how far I'll get because it's very tedious because this is an 80-year-old building and it has settled a lot.
I didn't go into any of the deep gouges because I actually wanted that to be part of the skim layer, but for just the thin cracks, just to give a base for the skim, it worked okay.
One of these is making a runner. Gonna have to do some transplanting. We're back. I had to work a bit late yesterday, so didn't really get anything done. What I've decided to do today is just start skimming. So the wall behind me, I did a little bit of filling in the cracks. I'm not convinced it's necessary or super helpful, and it made me sweaty, so I don't really want to do it again. So I'm just gonna start skimming, try to get as much of these sort of 2.5 walls done as I can tonight. I'm gonna go relatively thin with it and then do a second coat tomorrow once it's had a chance to dry. And then hopefully Friday we can put some mist coat on it before we've got to go out of town. So shall we just make a little bit of a mess and brighten this place up with some white?
So the drink compound really was too thick to use just on its own. So I watered it down. I unfortunately just watered it down a bit too much. So it was a little bit like soup, and therefore got absolutely everywhere. I managed to not get too much on the floor, more than I would like. And then Andy came in and used a sponge to wipe down some of the bits that were a little bit raised or a little bit rough. As long as you do it while it's relatively wet, it works okay, but it was still quite warm, so it was drying a bit fast. So I will have to do a bit of sanding. I'm just trying to avoid doing too much so we don't have to wipe the walls down again because it's so tiring.
Well, I really apologize for how much of my tramp stamp you probably saw throughout that process. I need some longer t-shirts. But I've at least got the first coat of skim down. It's not perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to just give it a couple more spots that I've just noticed when I moved into a different light source, just to wipe it down with a wet sponge so that we don't have to sand it so much tomorrow. But at least one wall, the biggest wall, is done. So hopefully these other two will go a bit quicker. Are you spying on me?
I just thought I'd come in and nose at the end.
Oh, now you want to see what's happening. You work shy mother. It's a very little thing, but I finally got around to taking all the rest of the plastic off the mirrors in our bedroom. So that makes it look quite a bit bigger. I mean, still a building site. But I like it. I'll take it. Look at this lushness. Lushness. Oh yeah. We even have enough salad for a salad. Oh yeah.
The strawberries too fucking
Look at these. Look how gorgeous and red they are.
Yes, one strawberry.
There's so many.
One but
See? 4. There are a couple that we'll just pick tomorrow. But look at the bite marks on this one. Dumb foxes. In other news, our giant alliums are building their little heads. Most of the stuff in here is done except for the alliums and these little wispy babies, which unfortunately the wind has just knocked the heck out of. But I'm hoping they'll flower for at least a little bit longer. And look over here. They're so cute. Oh, and look, a bumble showed up just in time. Just for you. There you go. Bumbled. They're so cute. So yeah, there's also a big giant dandelion growing right through the middle of that one. Oh, and the fuchsias are about to bloom too. So fun. Andy has informed me that you needed to see the blueberries. So we have little tiny baby blueberry and some slightly bigger, happier blueberries. So cute. So cute. Oh, cute husband. The skim is a bit rough and ready in a few places, but thankfully there doesn't seem to be any bubbling or anything, which I was a bit worried about because it was so thin I had to stir it quite a lot. So actually, yeah, pretty pleased with that. So we're just gonna grab some dinner real quick and then I'll come back up and do a little wee skimming, I guess. This is a really thick joint compound. So the bit I watered down yesterday, of course, was very, very messy, but it definitely went up smoother than the bottom bit of this that didn't quite get mixed in. So I will have to do at least a light sanding before the next coat.
But if nothing else, it's a really good workout just before bed. I think I'll sleep okay.
Okay, well, this tub is out of skim and I just can't be arsed to go all the way back downstairs to get enough just to do this last little corner. So I'll just do it during lunch or something tomorrow. So again, not quite perfect, but I think what my goal is just to get this last little bit at the bottom down there tomorrow. Then I'll obviously just get this last wall, hopefully before we leave for the funeral. Because I would like to at least have the first coat down and dry when we get back. We'll see how it goes. One simply never knows with these things. So if I don't see ya tomorrow, it's because I just ran out of steam. But hopefully this room will at least be ready for the mist coat on these 3 walls. We'll do a little bit more of a mist coat on the wall that had the plaster, just because when we were wetting it down to wipe it, we did notice a few places where it could probably use a bit more. And we've just had some really, really hot days here over the last couple of weeks. So it's probably really dry. So we'll mist coat it a wee bit more. And then we'll see what happens. But there will definitely be a few days without videos, so we'll catch you when we catch you.